What up, y'all? Back again. Today, the topic of discussion is going to be about the Hoover, the narcissistic Hoover. The narcissist is not going to come back because they miss you. They miss your supply, but they don't miss you. They're not in love with you. They never loved you. And as hard as that sounds and as bad as that seems to some people, that's really the best truth that you could receive today if you needed to hear that. Because the longer that you wallow in thinking that they love you and they just happen to be acting out, you're just going to be hurt worse and for a longer period of time. They don't love you. They never loved you. They just love what you give them, what they receive from you, because they're always takers, okay? They never give anything. If they do give, it's going to be in the beginning as an investment on their product, which is you. And they're only going to give when they're getting much more back, okay, on their return. So they're kind of like it's like a salesman. A salesman's going to give you some free things in the beginning because why? Because you're going to sign a contract, right? Or something, like some places, oh, if you sign this 2-year contract, this first month's free, That's the narcissist, It's like, I'm going to give you the first month free. I'm going to love bomb you for the first month. But then I'm going to get you hooked and you're going to be coming back to me over and over forever. I mean, that's what their plan is. And for some people, man, they'll do that. And that's a horrible life to live. And to think that that how you must be broke down from that, man. You just can't do that. I mean, that's not the way you want to live, okay? But they're going to come back for your supply. They're going to come back. Another reason is because they're losing you. Maybe it's been a long time. And if it's been a long time and you still have something to give, as far as, there's certain requirements, if you have nothing to give, they ain't going to hoover you, That's why they say if you're all burnt out from them, if they've taken all your energy and left you in the dust and they keep coming around to stalk and to check on you, if you still in the dust, they ain't coming back, And if you still wore out and you have nothing to give, they ain't coming back. But that's going to still give them supply. It's going to give them supply because you're dusted and disgusted. So if you're dusted and disgusted, then they're going to feel like they're above you and that you're below them and that they did that to you. And that makes them happy. That gives them supply. That's why if you want to get the narcissist back, you got to heal. They come back for, people that have recovered or people that they haven't had too much impact on. Maybe they got out early from the relationship. They saw the signs, or they woke up, or they were half awoke already because they've dealt with this several times before and they know what it looks like. And, it kind of woke them up and maybe they didn't get too injured this time. Or, as people get older, they ain't having it. So, some people that may have accepted this stuff, like for instance, me, when I was 20, I would accept, a lot of stuff that was not good for me. But as I got older and, being in a 9-year relationship with a narcissist, at least after that and breaking away from that, I had healed enough to where the next ones that came, I kind of started to know what they looked like. Because when you're with someone for 9 years, man, and you start to know what they walk and talk like, and the way they act is just not humane. It's just not, it's chaotic. And, you know, I think that a lot of times we would say, I think before you wake up, you kind of have this thing going in your head. I've heard so many people say it, and it's always gone in my head. You know, every time I dealt with a narcissist is, well, I got to give them the benefit of the doubt. You know, my intuition would be telling me, no, man, this ain't good, you know? And, you know, then I guess my ego would take over or something, my mind. And I call it the spell, man, until you wake up or until you, you know, get to a certain level in life to where you're not going to, you know, you're going to maybe vibrate higher or get to a point to where you understand, you know, if you were with a narcissist for 9 years like I was, or you can just look at some of your family members. I mean, that there's no change, man. I mean, I don't know, like when I was married years ago, I mean, I had, just so you know my history, I had several come after, and that's what kind of woke me up and got me to, you know, making this channel. Because when I finally woke up to it, I started Googling, you know, what is a pathological cheater, liar. I was looking up bipolar because they act like up and down all the time, and I finally landed on narcissism, and it kind of was like tuned up, man, because they run the same tracks. So it's kind of very easy after you start looking into it, you know, what you're dealing with. And that's why I was kind of starting to see it, because, you know, what they say is, you know, like you're dealing with the same spirit that keeps coming at you. It just comes at you in a different individual, and it comes at you a little different and a little harder usually from, you know, one, you know, woman to the next, or for the women, one, you know, man to the next, or whatever. They just keep coming until you wake up, and until you build your boundaries up to the point to where you're like, no more. And so I had dealt with it for 9 years, and I really tried real hard, man, to change, to help, let me help you. And nothing, man, nothing. Every time you try to help them, you know, and I'm not saying, you know, a lot of times you don't go into it, so they always say, you know, we could be fixers, but that's not, I wasn't going into this to fix anybody a lot of times. But yeah, you do become kind of like that. Once you get intertwined with somebody and everything, then you become somewhat of that. You definitely do. But initially, I was never into like fixing anybody. But in the situations that I land myself in, they get you to kind of get like that. I don't know, it's part of the spell as well. And so, you know, you sit there after a while, man, you're like, you know, well, my life will be better if I can help them, you know, get better. And you want to. You see a person that's, you know, heavily injured here, and it you know, life is not that bad for them, and not anymore, at least. You know, when you're married to them, and you're, you know, you're you know, living a decent life or whatever, it's like, why are you complaining now, you know? Or, you know, I mean, a lot of times I feel like that another part of the spell is you try so hard with these people. It's like you're on your best behavior, man, and it still ain't working. You know, if you were dating a normie or something, you wouldn't be like that. It's kind of funny, man. But when you're under this narcissistic spell before you wake up, it's like, I mean, that's why I have a hard time thinking like people that have split from a narcissist that are empaths and stuff. It's like, you feel like you could have did more. You got to be kidding me. Because if you're like me, which I know you guys are, because we would end up doing, it's kind of weird. They're on tracks, but we're also under that spell, and it's kind of like a track. Because, like, you know, I know from a lot of people I've talked with that you guys were on your best behavior too. So what makes you think you could have did more? So reflecting on it, it's like, at least in my opinion, man, there is nothing else I could have did better. But I also knew at some point in time when you're with somebody for 9 years and you live with them, I mean, at some point it'll hit you square in the head, man. They ain't never gonna change. And it's evil. It's evil. I mean, every time you'd want to get to the root of an issue, because a lot of times, I would want to talk it out with them. Like, let's talk this out and get to the bottom of it, because it's so confusing talking to these individuals. It's like, what the hell's going on here? You're not even dealing with this like a normal, person. How much confusion's inside the head of yours, And so you try to like get to the root of it. And there was times where I'd find out the narcissist would kind of give it away. Like, I started that whole argument for no reason, and that would be when, like, when I got to the bottom of that before she like raged on me or something, I'd be like scratching my head. This is before I woke up, and I'd be like, this is crazy, man, that somebody would do all of this, and make it up. And when we had gone to counseling, I guess I'm supposed to be talking about the Hoover, but when we'd go to counseling, it would be like, we went to counseling a few times, but then of course she got upset because, the counselor was like, not siding with her or whatever, or making her out to be a villain or something. But I remember the counselor telling me that she's like, you're fine. But her, because she would interview us separate, she's like, she needs a lot of help. And she'd be like, yeah, she did say she loves you, but, and she's just always, you were the only one that in her life that ever make things calm, and that she's used to such a chaotic life. And that's what the counselor told me. And, shortly after that, we ended up splitting up for good. But she was I believe a borderline. So that's a little different. Because I do feel like out of the narcissist or the cluster Bs, the borderline is the one that, well, they can be misdiagnosed, but also they have more of a heart or a chance. But then they just kept getting worse, man, until sociopath, psychopath types. That's when it was like, whoa, But they still run similar tracks. So, I mean, what's to say, I think they just, if they're kind of like, they could morph into any one of the narcissistic or borderline types, man. That's my opinion. Depending on their supply, or depending on if they're empty seaters, you don't know what the heck's jumping in the seat of that thing and then jumping back out, and some other devil jumping in there, so. But, when it comes to the Hoover is going to be always out of control and supply. So you have something to give, and they're out of supply, and they need you. You're next up. That's all it is. And you're probably not even. You may not even be their first supply. Because there's always more than you. There's always at least two of you, at least. And some of them, if they're good looking enough, they may have like 3 supplies, or and to run around town all the time. Sometimes if you keep denying the Hoover, they'll come back and say that, they've seen the light. You hear people say that. It's true. I mean, I've been through that. They saw the light, and all the stuff that you told them, they start acting like because they were missing you, and they went in and started thinking, and so they come back, changed. But they're devaluing somebody or throwing that negative energy on somebody. But this is what they'll do too, is that's when they'll start sabotaging your food, and your clothing detergent and stuff like that. And that's what happened too. That's like that Duper Delight thing they talk about in narcissism. So yeah, they might be like acting all cool with you, but then they'll be getting over on you somehow in some other way because they're devils. And a devil's always got to operate like a devil. You're never going to get a love partner out of a devil. And a devil is always going to be a devil. I mean, you could paint its face, you could put new clothes on it, but is a devil going to change? It's still going to be the breed of a devil, you know? So they're going to do that. If it's bad enough, they'll come back like that. Like if one of two things, if you're good supply, and that's not good, but so don't, you know, pat yourself on the back for that. But if you're good supply to them and they don't want to lose you, they may try something like that. Or if they're out of supply, then, because this is like to a mode of kind of like, seems like more of a begging type for a narcissist. It's just not something they commonly like to do because it's a little vulnerable for them. Although, like, they're always lying anyway. So if they're telling you stories, like, they'll be like, oh, I was injured in my childhood, because this is what they'll do too. They'll tell you these crappy stories they went through when they were childhood. Extra, going in deeper than they normally would in the past. Some more, like, they had, you know, been abused and stuff. Which you don't, I mean, I don't even believe it, because you get lies all day long from them. I mean, I did at the time. So that's part of that type of Hoover. I mean, you know, a lot of times though, the Hoovers are going to be, sometimes I'm sorry. It's usually, there's a lot of sorries, or sorry you felt like that, or you feel that way about the situation that ended it. Or, you know, that type of the faux apology. And that's terrible, man, because the faux apology is like they almost apologize. That's pretty good for the narcissist. I always say that, because they'll never really, and it's just so crappy of an apology. And you got to be aware, because the narcissist, man, they're still always going to fly off the handle if you like injure them or say like something that injures them. It's like the only way to keep a narcissist at bay, which you can't even do that, but for a time, is walking on eggshells, man. It's like, man, you got to think like 10 times before you speak and try to take care of their every need. And you just get wore out, and it's not what a relationship's supposed to be about. It's like empty. It's like you're walking around. You're supposed to be in a relationship with somebody, and it's like you're dealing with a soulless portal. I mean, really. And it's sad, but that's what it is. And then anytime they're away from you, I mean, it's like they just play crap with you, man. It's like they may pick up the phone late, or, you know, not answer the phone. That's like That's like a disrespectful, man, if you're supposed to be your love partner. And they may pick it up fine for a time. That's the thing with them. You don't know what to expect. You don't. That's the thing. They're like Satan. You know, they're like rogue. You know, it's like you don't know what to expect. I mean, they could be nice today, and then mean tomorrow. They could treat you well and pick up the phone on the first ring today, or the first few rings today, which would be typical of a love partner. Or they may wait hours before they ring you back. And, you know, they may not cheat on you for a few months, but they're going to cheat on you in a few months. So it's like, to think about going back with the narcissist. I mean, the Hoover, what's sad is a lot of times you're still in a trauma bond when they try to Hoover you, because you may not be completely healed, or you may still kind of want them back, maybe because you're being in that trauma bond, and they got your hormone or your endocrine system all screwed up, and you just wait for a Hoover, even though you may be talking like you ain't. And, you know, they come back and they say all these nice things, man. It's like, you want to believe them. And, you know, you could take them back, but you know what's going to happen. But then you got to also, if you turn them away, when you turn them away, it's like you really sometimes didn't want to, because you're kind of like dealing with the loss, and they're talking all nice, um, like they care, but they don't. And it's only obvious when you look at it on paper. So, a lot of times. But the Hoover is usually because they're short on supply, or or you've been away from them for too long, and they're afraid, you have good supply to offer, and they're afraid they're gonna lose you. And they gotta rebuild that trauma bond and that power and control over you. And that's what makes them feel good. And they cannot deal with abandonment issues. They always want to keep you in the harem, and the harem is, multiple partners that they can pick up and drop off and date for a few months, and then get rid of, and then, leave them all screwed up while they go and date somebody else and screw them up and put them back in the harem car garage, and then come back for them later when they're ready to be just about healed, just about ready to go out there and be free from the narcissist and living at least decently healthy. That's when the narcissist comes back to pick your ass back up. And it's almost like you feel like a damn prostitute if you think about it. It's like they're picking you up off the street corner, man, sticking around with you for a few months, and then they're gonna be cheating on you then, and cheating on you shortly after they start seeing you. But then they're also prostituting themselves, because they're having sex with everybody. So the Hoover, that's kind of what it's about. And again, it's like you get re-idolized. So they re-idolize you, and you're supposed to be their hero, and then they're gonna love bomb you, and then they're gonna devalue you, discard you, and trash you. And I promise you that'll happen, because that's what they all do. And if they stay with you for a long period of time, they're just gonna be doing it all in the background, and you're still gonna be in a constant devalue phase at some point. You'll never enjoy a holiday. You'll never have a smile on your face, and you'll never get nice gifts that are meaningful, and you'll never have fun with the narcissist, because they always got a grimace on, a smirk on. They're always duping you, screwing around with you, manipulating you, getting over on you, tainting your crap, cheating on you, manipulating, and destroying. Whether it's in front of your face or in the background. A lot of times it's both. So my suggestion to you, all y'all, do not respond to a Hoover. Go to a contact, heal, go inside, and do the right thing, the long thing, and recover, and know the signs. Stay away from them. So give me a like, subscription, and a thumbs up. Till next time, soldier up. Peace.